Rachel Zegler was supposed to take over London's West End. Her casting as Eva Perón in Evita was framed as bold, edgy, and career-defining. Instead, she's been called a nightmare, walked off stage mid-rehearsal, allegedly escorted out by security, and now, internal leaked director's notes have painted a picture of chaos, ego, and backstage meltdowns that may have cost her everything. This was supposed to be her redemption. Instead, it's a warning. Rachel Zegler needed a win. After a string of PR disasters, social media stumbles, and an industry growing increasingly wary of her attitude, the pressure was on. Once hailed as the next big thing after West Side Story, her reputation was quickly unraveling. Not because of her acting chops, but because of what she said and how she carried herself off screen. That's what made the Evita casting such a moment. It wasn't just another job. It was a reset button. Eva Perón is one of the most iconic, vocally demanding, and emotionally complex roles in musical theater. The chance to play her on London's West End wasn't just a gig, it was a statement. It was supposed to be Rachel's return to her roots, the stage, where she wouldn't be reduced to sound bites or clickbait quotes. There would be no editing, no filters, just the raw truth of her performance. Critics were skeptical. Could she command the gravitas of Eva? Could she deliver not just vocally, but with the depth and discipline needed to carry such a role? But her defenders were hopeful. If Rachel could pull this off, she wouldn't just redeem herself, she'd ascend. The role would prove she was more than the headlines, more than the drama, more than the social media moments. It would prove she was a true star. But what actually happened was the opposite of everything that was promised. It started quietly. Then it exploded. A leaked set of internal rehearsal notes, reportedly written by Evita's director Jamie Lloyd, hit the internet like a sledgehammer. These weren't vague remarks or gossip. These were surgical observations captured in real time during rehearsals. And they didn't paint a flattering picture. Refuses to take direction. Disrupts energy in the room. Needs constant reassurance, yet undermines the entire process. Believes she's the center of the show. Forgetting she's not the show, she's part of one. But the line that broke the internet, her stage presence is undeniable. Her backstage presence is unbearable. The leak went viral within hours. Theater blogs, fan forums, and entertainment news outlets couldn't stop talking about it. Worse, cast members quietly confirmed it was real. Some even said the notes didn't go far enough. Insiders claimed Rachel challenged choreographers, refused to participate in group sessions, and even stormed out of costume fittings, complaining the wardrobe didn't feel powerful enough. The production began to fracture. Blocking was restructured to keep cast members separated. Meetings were allegedly recorded for legal protection. It was no longer a rehearsal process. It was a damage control operation. The dream was falling apart, and everyone backstage knew it. As the tension escalated, so did the incidents. One rehearsal reportedly ended mid-session after Rachel refused to perform a new scene, called out the director in front of the room, and walked off, forcing the production team to call in security. Yes, security. For a rehearsal. According to multiple accounts, she was escorted out of the theater, while the rest of the cast stood frozen in silence. This wasn't artistic tension. This was collapse, unfolding in real time. Eventually, things got so strained that Jamie Lloyd, the director himself, stopped speaking to Rachel directly. Every note, every piece of feedback had to be relayed through an assistant or production liaison. That's almost unheard of in live theater. In most shows, the lead and the director are in constant communication, but in this case, the trust had broken. And once that bond is gone in a stage production, everything begins to shake. Then came the video, grainy, side angle, clearly not meant for the public. But when footage surfaced online showing someone other than Rachel singing "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina" during a closed-door rehearsal, the speculation exploded. Was she fired? Did she quit? Was the understudy taking over? The official Evita channels went completely silent. No press release, no clarification, no denial. Just one leak, followed by another, until the silence became deafening. What was supposed to be Rachel's triumphant return to the stage had now turned into a full-scale backstage disaster. Theater insiders reported emergency meetings with lawyers. Understudies were moved into full performance prep, and casting directors across London were already labeling her as high risk. In just a few short weeks, Rachel had gone from a redemption arc to an industry cautionary tale. By the time the leaks and rumors had reached a boiling point, fans and professionals weren't asking what went wrong anymore. They were asking, why does this keep happening? Because Evita wasn't the first. It was just the latest in a growing list of public controversies tied to Rachel Zegler's name. Her stint in Shazam, Fury of the Gods, was marked by dismissive interviews where she claimed she took the role for the paycheck. The press tour for Snow White became a full-blown PR disaster after she described the original film as weird and said her version of Snow White doesn't dream of love. What was meant to be empowering came off, to many, as arrogant, even disdainful. And now, with Evita, the behavior pattern seems to have escalated. Refusing direction, walking off set, alienating her cast and crew. It wasn't just about bad press anymore. It was about the same tension following her from project to project. It became harder to defend, harder to ignore. And while she remains undeniably talented, the question isn't can Rachel Zegler perform? It's can anyone work with her anymore? The pattern is there, and everyone is starting to see it. Some of her fans are still standing by her, calling her outspoken, bold, misunderstood. But the industry is less forgiving, and audiences are growing tired. Comment sections turned toxic. Theaters braced for protests, and producers started fielding questions they never expected to hear. Is Rachel Zegler worth the risk? Throughout it all, the leaks, the backlash, the mounting pressure, Rachel stayed silent. Not a tweet, not a TikTok, not a single public comment. Her once active Instagram page wiped of all Evita-related posts. Her last upload was a filtered mirror selfie with a cryptic caption, "Sometimes you outgrow the rooms you were never meant to shrink into." And then, nothing. The silence didn't feel strategic. It felt like retreat. Rachel Zegler still has time, still has talent, still has potential. But if she doesn't change course, fast, her story might be written not on stage or screen, but in headlines, backstage notes, and industry group chats. This wasn't just a bad week, it was a breaking point. And if that final rehearsal video ever goes public, the conversation could be over. This is Behind the Lightstick. Like, comment, and subscribe for raw storytelling, cultural accountability, and the stories behind the spin, because some stars rise in silence, and some burn out while everyone's still watching.